Hello, beautiful people. This is Chris Maddox. I am the founder of the Wild Woman Project, and I'm speaking to you today because I always speak to you at new moon time, and the new moon is upon us. So, September 1st brings us the new moon in Virgo. And if you're new to the Wild Woman Project, welcome. I'm so happy you found yourself here. You'll notice right away that we make this really big deal about the moon cycle for many reasons, which we'll learn sort of together over time. But the new moon time is something that we really celebrate. And we do this by gathering in our local communities and gathering in Wild Woman Project circles basically all over the world. And one of the things to sort of think about in terms of the why of that, why to make such a big deal out of this time of the moon cycle. New moon time versus, let's say, full moon time. Full moon time is a place that it gets a lot of attention. It's very bold. It's very out there. It's something that we can all see. We can stand under the light of the full moon, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And the new moon time it's sort of opposite. It's actually the time where during the moon cycle, if you look up on the night of the full moon, or excuse me, the new moon, you will not see the moon in the sky. But it's an interesting thing to contemplate that the moon is not disappeared. It hasn't left the orbit. It's something that we know is there. It's just the positioning of the sun, the moon, and the earth that makes it invisible to our eye. But what it invites us to do, that new moon time invites us to do, is to wake up to those things that we know are there, that we can sense, that we can feel are there, but we can't necessarily see or quantify. Right? So that's one of the deep beauties of the new moon time. It draws us into sort of the mystery of life and the mystery of our own inner knowing and our own inner world. So what we do at new moon time here in the New Moon Report, at Wild Woman Project circles and in the New Moon Companion, is we really begin to explore the depths of our inner life. And that inner life, that inner space, is not something that you can quantify. It's not something that can necessarily be seen. You are the only one who can know the depths of your being. We can do our best to try to communicate to one another and try to share these things. But at the end of the day, it is you and you alone who knows the depths of your being and the truth of who you are and what you know deeply, like with the things that you know in your bones. So, this being said, for this new moon, we are revisiting the theme that we started last year. We started with the new moon in Virgo, this amazing series that we've been doing, which has been at every new moon we've been exploring an archetype, a feminine archetype that has a kinship with the astrological sign of that new moon. So we are going to kind of come full circle and end where we began with the Virgo archetype and its kin, the priestess. So our theme this month at the Wild Woman Project is the priestess within. And this, what we'll do here at New Moon Time, is together we'll evoke this sense of the priestess within us, really inspired by this new moon in Virgo. And we'll carry this throughout the moon cycle. So let's talk about the nature of Virgo and this new moon and why, what is this priestess energy and why are we doing it? So the one thing I want to point to immediately is you can learn a lot about an astrological sign by looking to its ruling planet. Virgo's ruling planet is Mercury. Mercury is called the winged messenger. Mercury just does laps around the sun fast, moves around the sun in 88 days. That is very, very, very quick. So it tells you sort of the nature. It's associated with the mind, right? The ability to receive and deliver messages, this part of ourself. It's quick, it's this way, it's that way, it's up, it's down, it's winged, it takes flight. So that's sort of, this is one energy that's sort of theirs, like this thing of the messenger and the searching, and almost like you can picture like a bird, like a magical bird. You often see that in myth, that the protagonist will often have a bird friend of some kind. So the winged messenger, okay, that's one energy that's here. And then the next thing I want you to sort of just sort of think of and feel into in your own being is Virgo is an earth sign. So that is a very different energy. Earth, out of all of the elements, is notoriously like slower. It's dense, right? And Earth has all of these qualities that are very much about, I'm looking at the Earth now, it's about this limitless sort of fertility and abundance, this sense that, the Earth is something solid, it's something reliable, it's something that we can count on. It's a source of support. We can lay on the ground and we can feel so supported and so held. Okay, so you have this Earth energy married to this winged messenger energy. So this is kind of really, beautiful. You can imagine yourself or even feel yourself now where you are, sitting or standing on the earth and being in that earth element. There's a stillness there. There's a sense of quiet. There's a sense of being connected deeply to the earth, deeply on the deepest level. And from that still place, can begin to hear the messages that want to come through. Messages maybe from the world around us, messages perhaps from our own inner guidance, our own inner knowing, messages from beyond. This idea of that marrying this winged messenger to the earth very much begins to evoke the quality of the priestess who can stand with her feet planted in the middle of a chaotic world and can allow herself that stillness to be able to hear, to be able to listen. There is a sense with this Virgo archetype, this priestess archetype, that there is a strong sense of integrity. People will often describe Virgos as being pure. They'll use that word pure a lot because, the constellation is that of the maiden or the virgin. And if we look deeply into what that word purity really can begin to evoke in us, I think what we'll begin to find is purity being our natural self, our very essence, before the world sort of got all of its fingerprints all over our mind and our being. We come in as babies in a very pure state, and we're molded during the course, and nobody gets away with not being molded by the world, right? By our human lives. And we are shaped, we are sculpted, the messages that we are told, the value systems that we are born into and that we inherit. All of these things begin to shape us in a particular way. And it's not necessarily in alignment with the truth of who we are, right? So the Virgo, the priestess archetype, sort of has a natural inclination to do whatever it takes to get those fingerprints off of them so that they can get down to the truth of who they are and find out what's real. We're taught a lot about what we should be, what we should do, what we should value, and it is every person's right and I think sacred work to make sure that those things inside of us, who we believe we are, what we are doing, what we are saying, who we are being in the world, is really in alignment with our own truth. And that really takes a priestess kind of energy coming in, and maybe that process, I think this is a large part of what spiritual practice is all about. It's about, whether you're doing practices like breath work, which you'll see across many traditions, you'll see meditation across many traditions, you'll see many forms of movement practices and energy practices. these are aimed at sort of ridding ourselves, smoothing out the impressions, smoothing out those fingerprints, so we can really remember who we truly are. So this new moon at the Wild Woman Project, we are collectively calling in our inner priestess, so that no matter where we stand on this earth, no matter what is going on this earth, we can stand in stillness and deep connection to the earth, and we can have the ears to listen to our inner guidance and our inner truth, and to act from that place, from a place of integrity, from a place of purity. So that is what we'll be doing in Wild Woman Project circles. So I'll put a link below this video so you can find a circle near you. If you do not see your circle on that, you don't see your city on that list, you can download your New Moon Companion, and that is like you'll be able to listen to it right away. It's you and it's 2 MP3s, an in-depth talk, deeper than this video, and a visualization and a dream sheet where you'll kind of create intentions. So whether you leave a circle or you do the New Moon Companion, you will leave with strong, powerful intentions for the cycle ahead, which you can carry and nurture. You know, if you are hearing about these Wild Woman Project circles and having curiosity or some pull, some tug at your heartstrings, thinking that maybe you want to do this, we have a training coming up, and you are absolutely invited to join that training. So this training was built for women who want to really bring a Wild Woman Project circle to their community, people who want to deepen their facilitation skills, learn how to create sacred space, and really sort of become a priestess. And to learn all of the sort of facets of what it takes to hold a sacred space for other people. And it has, you know, it's a 7-week process, and alongside learning all these skills, it's a very deep inner work. We work a lot with the Wild Woman archetype throughout that process. And anyway, you can read about it. You'll see a link below this video, and we're about half full. So if it calls to you, I hope that you register, and I hope to get to know you in the fall. So I have one more announcement. This thing that's happened over the past year, where we started with these feminine archetypes at each new moon, sort of exploring those in depth, that came to a culmination point this August at Wild Woman Fest, which was so beautiful, and so many of you were there. And our theme for the year at Wild Woman Fest was Faces of the Feminine, and we dug into a lot of these archetypes that we've been exploring over the past year, and we sort of had a chance to be together in that exploration on top of a mountain. So next new moon in October, for the new moon in Libra, we are going to begin an entirely new series, very similar to what we did here, where throughout the next year we're going to be exploring a series that has sort of a connection to one another, and it will come to a culmination point for Wild Woman Fest 17 next August. So I want you to know that that's how that's going, that's how it works, and I'm wishing you a aligned, magical, deep, rich moon cycle. Wherever you are, whatever you do, may you stand in your priestess. All right, that's all for now. I'll see you over at thewildwomanproject.com.